It's now 5 o'clock. I call this meeting of the Granbury Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of trustees is present, that the meeting has been duly called, and that the notice of this meeting is posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Law Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. This board will now adjourn into executive session pursuant to the following sections. 551-072, 551-074. Okay. And the time is now 5:01. I didn't bring my book in. The time is now 6 o'clock.
Test.
The time is now 6 o'clock. Got it? I call this meeting of the Granbury Independent School District to order. We are back in open session after our brief recess. At this time, we will go to item number 4, which is the moment of silence, and I've asked Ms. Graff if she will lead us tonight.
Lord, thank you for this day. We're grateful for the incredible accomplishments in all areas of our students and staff. I pray for wisdom and that the decisions we make today will glorify and honor you. Please put a hedge of protection around our children, employees, and our community. I pray that we engage in meaningful discussion and for your peace that surpasses all understanding. We ask for blessings upon all students, teachers, and staff. In Jesus' name, amen.
At this time, I ask Ms. Walton, do you have some beautiful girls here that are going home with me after the meeting? Blackton Elementary School, Ms. Walton.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Glenn, Dr. Harrington, members of the board. It's an honor to be here tonight representing Acton Elementary. Creating opportunities for our students to serve in leadership roles is important to us at Acton. And last year we brought with us members of our Pirates with Purpose group and our student ambassadors. And this year we brought a different group of student leaders. Here with me tonight to help introduce them is Jill Jernigan, our incredible counselor.
Thank you, Mrs. Walton. I just want to tell you a little bit about our kindness crew. They have been so helpful to me this year. They help teach our monthly character traits each week during our announcements. They have found several ways to inspire our students to keep acting kind. They pass out brag tags to kids showing positive character traits. They helped create a kindness quilt and an inspirational smile wall. They consistently model our character traits of responsibility, trustworthiness, respect, fairness, caring, and citizenship. And they are Cadence Jacobs, Layla Binford, and Megan Jordan. They will now lead us in the pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
It's all right.
Back for 2 days.
We move to the Achievement Spotlight. Dr. Glenn.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I'm going to call Jeremy Ross to the podium as he will present the 2022-2023 valedictorian and salutatorian.
All right, yes, they followed me. That's good. All right, Dr. Glenn, members of the board, it is my honor to present to you these two fine students. They have achieved greatness extraordinarily. These two are 1 and 2 in their class of approximately 450 students, and I think that alone deserves some applause. Spencer is our salutatorian for the class of 2023. He is going to Baylor. He's going to be studying economics and entrepreneurship. He has participated in baseball, golf, and choir. He is involved in UIL academics, National Honor Society, Junior Optimists. When I asked him a couple of his favorite classes, he said U.S. History with Mrs. Leatherman and English with Jackie Bradshaw. So congratulations, our salutatorian, Spencer Burnfield. Lexi is going to TCU, our valedictorian for the class of 2023. She's headed to be a Horned Frog. She's going to study biology with a pre-med track, and I asked her if she was going to study feet. Dr. Mueller, she said no. She said something else. She was a later Pirate basketball player. She's also an NHS, a member of HOSA and WIT, and her favorite class was the hands-on experience she got in our CTE health science clinicals. So our 2023 class valedictorian, Lexi Mueller.
We got a couple of proud parents out there that want to wave their hand to the audience. Great job, great job. At this time, I'm going to call up Cindy Leatherman and Tammy Bodine, and they will present the UIL academic teams.
Good evening. On March 25th, the Granbury High School UIL academic teams went and competed at our district meet at Saginaw High School. We came home with a very large trophy. And we're very proud of our students. Tonight we would like to recognize the students that not only competed that day, because many did, but the students that advanced on to the region competition, which took place in April at Texas Tech University. And let me also state that in UIL academics we compete in accounting, mathematics, science, number sense, spelling, ready writing, calculator applications, computer science, computer applications, social studies, current events, literary criticism, journalism, speech and debate. And we have teams and individuals that compete in all of those events. So if the coaches would come forward and introduce your students. And if the students would come on up, that would make things very easy for the coaches.
Hi guys, I'm Shyler Byram and I am the speech and debate coach, and we took 3 to regionals. I had Kenneth Flowers. He actually is a 2-time regional qualifier. He's working at Chick-fil-A tonight, so he could not join us. He's a senior, so this was my last year with him. I also took Lauren Lee. Lauren? She competed in Lincoln Douglas debate and is a junior. And I took Lexi Scarpello. Go somewhere. Lexi is a freshman, and she competed in persuasive speaking.
Good evening. My name is Cindy Jackson. I am the science coach for the UIL academic team. And one of the things that I want to let you know about science is that these kids compete in 3 different disciplines in science: biology, chemistry, and physics. I have one student who advanced to region through earning a 3rd place individual overall and also a 1st place chemistry. I'm very proud of him, Gene Williams.
I'm Michelle Hunsinger, and I helped coach computer apps that moved on to regions. And I wasn't quite sure what that was when I first started coaching it and realized it is Microsoft's apps. So it's all the stuff we don't use anymore, basically. You've got Word, you've got Excel, and I always forget that one. But what's really cool is they learned other apps to use and actually enjoy those better than some of the Google ones that they're able to use in college now. So it was a really neat experience. And I was able to take Matthew Shute with me. He's one of my seniors and did amazing. Really proud of him, especially since it's something that we don't use on an everyday basis. And he did really well.
Good evening. I'm Tammy Bodine, and I coach accounting, and I'm also here representing Melissa Knight, who coaches our spelling and our ready writing team. So I'm going to start with the spelling team. We have Grant Rogers, Man Vagasha, and Alejandra Landa. Our spelling team took 1st place at district. And our ready writers, I think 2 are not here tonight, but we have Anya Peters. Ava Williamson. And Jillian Trimble. And they did a fantastic job. Jillian and Ava both advanced to regionals as well. Anya. Yeah, there you go. I got you. I'm trying. Now for my number crunchers. Okay, we took 1st place at district and we advanced to region. On and on, but I know we have a lot of people to recognize tonight, so I'm just going to call my people up here. So, my captain, Griselda Landa. Katie Lou Funk. She may not be here. Amy Hernandez. My 2 sophomores and my firecrackers. Taylor Dolly can't be here tonight. And then Everett Brown. Thank you so much for your support.
And I am the last, but I coach the UIL current events team and the social studies team, and our social studies team competed at district and won 1st place, and then we moved on to region, and we placed 2nd at region, which unfortunately was 4 points short of advancing to state. But I am incredibly proud of my 3 seniors and freshmen that are on my UIL social studies team that advanced. So one senior who could not be here tonight is Annabelle Dykes, but I need to mention her name because she placed, I believe, 5th at region. And then Spencer Burnfield, our salutatorian. Skylar Mitchell. And my freshman, Cameron Ward. And we want to thank you, trustees and parents, for your support of UIL Academics. We're incredibly proud. UIL Academics really begins in August and does not end until I believe the state meet is this week. So we're very proud of their hard work, and we thank you so much for your support and all of the materials that you help us purchase, and parents for encouraging your students to participate in academics and compete for our school academically.
Ms. Leatherman,
Yes, ma'am.
we would be remorse, did we not recognize the difference that you and Ms. Botein have made on the UIL academics, because you don't even have to be as old as I am to realize that there was a time when we were not considered the least bit competitive, and you have recruited a wonderful bunch of coaches for these young people, and y'all have stood fast, and I personally want to thank every one of you and all of you boys and girls. Dr. Glenn?
Thank you, Dr. Harrison. And I would like to thank the coaches as well. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, picture.
Tammy, go with us. Coach is fine. Yes. No, just do the kids. Just do the kids. Just the kids. But there's going to count. Okay. Let's go on with that. I don't ever leave behind this thing. She forgets. Remember how long it is? Take a picture. Figure it out.
All right. Congratulations again, teachers, and thank you very much, students. And parents, do we have parents in the audience? I think they have found the way to the exit. It is a smart group. At this time, I'm going to call up Priscilla Lumbreras to introduce, I'll let her tell you who she's going to introduce for science and engineering.
Good evening, Dr. Glenn, school board. Thank you so much for having me again. This is kind of a recognition and a goodbye to Mr. Tristan Poole because he is a senior and he's off for bigger adventures. But I do want to recognize him for his work, his science research that has to do with artificial intelligence and machine learning, way above my pay grade, so I'm going to have him explain his work. But I did want to, kind of highlight this year, he did go to the Fort Worth Science and Engineering Fair. He placed 4th in a category of 15 students, and it is the most competitive category all over. He beat out some students that work with scientists and researchers at the University of North Texas, and this is a kid that worked on his own. It's no surprise that, where most kids his age are working at McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, this kid already has his own company formed from the work he has done for Science Fair. So without much ado, here's Tristan Poole.
So my project aimed to predict 3 variables that help oncologists form treatment plans for breast cancer. Tumor location, architectural distortion, and bilateral status. So I ended up creating a machine learning model to predict these variables using a design that was previously used for diagnostic applications. And I ended up making a model that was both more performant than other types of models and also used a fraction of the memory and computational resources to achieve that. So I plan to attend UT Austin in the fall, and I plan to continue growing my company through a startup incubator program in Austin.
All right, Tristan's mom and dad here. All right, round of applause. And Tristan's headed for the door, so if you want to invest, I would grab him quickly. All right, thank you, Tristan. Proud of you, buddy. All right, this time we'll call up Breanne Langdon, who will talk about our culinary and barbecue teams.
We're a loud bunch. Thank you, board, for having us. I feel lucky I get to see some of you board members and directors multiple times in the last few weeks at our GEF banquet and employee banquet, and it's good to see your supportive faces again. For the board and community members that don't know, we have a very diverse and exciting culinary program. In addition to the galley that we have, our restaurant on campus at the high school, we also do catering. We did the grazing table here earlier for you guys back in January. And we also did the desserts last week at the employee banquet. So in addition to all of that, several years ago, we added in our barbecue program. And it has been something that has grown exponentially over the last several years. We started off with 1 team. Last year we went to 2 teams, and this year we are at 4 teams. And so the program itself has continued to grow, the interest has grown, and the amount of students and talent and skills that they're learning also continue to grow. So I'm going to call these guys up, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit more about them and who they are and what they're doing. So We did, like I said, have 4 teams, and we hosted our own regional this year for the first time, and it was on April 15th, and it was the largest regional that the high school board, High School Barbecue Association had across the state. We had 17 teams in attendance, and from there, we were able to qualify between that contest and the Sanger contest we went to earlier this year. We were able to qualify all 4 of our teams to attend state. And then we also attended Worlds in November. We also attended the San Antonio Livestock Show contest in January. So lots of really cool, fun things happening in barbecue. And I'm going to call up these teams now. So I'm going to start with our Pirate Pit Masters. And we have 2 kiddos that weren't able to be here today. That's Ryan Pettigo and Devin Bird. But we also have Cameron English, Zach Van Zant, and Sammy Velasquez. And then next up, we have Team Hot Ship. That's Ship with a P. And we have one from that team that wasn't able to be here. That's Braden Hickey. And then we also have Cooper Sanderson and Macy Boyd. The next 2 teams were able to secure enough points and or a wild card vote to advance to our national contest, which will be in June in Round Rock at the Kalahari Resort, who everybody in the business office is so excited to get to send them there. But that is for cereal growers. That is Carter Conley, Maria Merez, Jackson Barton, Justin Alonzo, and Sinai Garcia. And then our team that qualified on the day of and carries on the name of our very first barbecue team ever is Team Seriously Smokin', and that is Diorlin Granados, Melanie Yanez, Noe Puente, Tristan Miller, and Emery Kirby. So all in all, we had 18 kiddos get to go with us to state and burn it. We'll take 10 of those that are advancing to nationals in June in Round Rock. And next year, nationals is in Branson, so we're excited about that too. But I just can't commend these kiddos hard enough for their hard work. Very similarly to UIL, our contest season and our barbecue prep work begins in August, and we are going all the way to mid-June. So it is a very long time frame, and that's every other Tuesday getting to spend with me. And sometimes they're excited about that, sometimes not, but that's okay. But it's a lot. It's a big commitment. And so I'm really honored that they have stuck with it and that I get to be their barbecue/kitchen mama. And I'm really, really proud of them. So, yeah, good job, guys. Proud of you.
They'll look so sharp. Make me so proud. We so good. Yeah, y'all sure do. You look so beautiful.
We have any parents or family members out there? All right. Woo. Woo! I see a proud mom. Thank you, Miss Langdon. And I would say whenever they host the competitions here, they're always looking for judges, and I would strongly encourage you to volunteer. It's a great experience. All right, at this time, GHS track and field athletes, I'm going to call up coaches Brown, Shahan, and Ward.
Hello, I'm Amber Ward, the girls' head track coach. Thank you all so much for having us tonight. I'm going to go ahead and give you kind of a background on what it takes to qualify for state. Cassidy Kirkpatrick up here qualified for state in the high jump, so we're here to recognize her. At the district meet, you must be the top 4 to advance on to the area meet. Cassidy was the long jump district champ, the high jump district champ, and qualified in our 4x1 relay for the area meet. So then moving on to area, you must also be the top 4 at the area meet. She got second in long jump and then was also the area meet champ in the high jump, qualifying her for regional. Once you get to Lubbock for the regional meet, you must be the top 2. Cassidy got out and she was the regional champ in high jump, qualifying her for the state meet in Austin. So that was a lot of fun. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Coach Shahan. She is our high jump coach for the girls and the boys, so she did all the hard work with these high jumpers. So Coach Shahan.
Hello, good evening, y'all. They say I did all the hard work, but I really didn't. Those two right there put in all of the work. Everybody always asks what I did. I'm like, I just was there for them every day. But I'm here to talk about Cassidy first. Like Amber just told you guys, I mean, it takes a lot to get to where she got. But not only that, but out of all of the meets that we had this year, Cassidy won. She got second place 3 out of the meets, and she got first place 6 different times. She was the first place champion. She also got a new PR this year of 5.6, which ties our school record that was held by Gabby Munn. I don't even know how many years ago. It was one of my first years here. She was super close to beating it at the state meet. If they would have let her jump one more time, I think she would have had it. She is an absolutely hot mess, but she's my track and volleyball daughter, and I love her to death, and she deserves all of it. And not only that, but she is continuing her career at Tarleton, and she just signed with them, and so she is going to be jumping at Tarleton next year, and we are so proud of her.
All right, good deal. My name is Jody Brown. I'm the head boys track and field coach. Thank you guys for having us here tonight. We really appreciate it, and I know these kiddos appreciate it. I've got 2 tonight for you. The first one, and keep in mind, both of these kids are freshmen. So what I'm about to tell you about them a little bit, hopefully we got another 3 years with those guys, and whatever they've done up to this point, we'll be able to break it and just get better and better as the years go by. But the first one I've got is Brian Haley. He broke a school record in the 3,200. This school record was set in 1996, so 27-year-old record by a guy named Jared Pope. I don't know if you guys know Jared Pope or remember him. I got an opportunity to track him down and talk to him a little bit after Brian had broken the record, and super nice guy, and he just had the best things to say about Granbury and his time as a student here, and just told me the story about when he broke the school record, and he couldn't believe it had been 27 years that it was still standing. So Brian Haley is the new record holder in the 3,200. Good job, Brian. And then the next one, and I'm going to let Coach Shan get up here and talk again, because Miller Center Ward, like Coach Amber Ward said, Coach Shahan does all the work with him. I just make sure the bus is ready to go and the Suburban's gassed up and we're entered in the meet and they do all the work. But Miller is an extremely talented kid. This is the second athlete. We've had boy athlete in the last 3 years that's qualified for the state meet. So I like where our program's going, and man, Miller has just done an incredible job all year. He's district champ, area champ. Gets to regional, gets the 3rd spot, and then gets the Lockhart spot in Austin. But I'm going to let Coach Shahan talk a little bit more about Miller.
Okay. Hi, me again. Miller is such an amazing kid, and I don't know if you guys have ever had a chance to talk to him, but if you do, I mean, he is just the most humble, hardworking kid I've ever coached, level-headed. You know, you have Cassidy over here who's like, wow! And I can say that because she knows I love her. But then you have Miller who's just like there, and and Cassidy's like, are you not nervous? And he's like, no, just go jump higher. Just jump higher. And he was like that the entire time, even walking into the state meet, which is exciting in itself. Even me walking in there, you know, I was nervous and like, wow, this is awesome. And you could just tell he was there to compete, and he's a competitor, and he just wanted to do the best that he could. And that's what he did. He came in after basketball season and started jumping for us. He's gotten first place in meets 4 different times. Third place, he's got there 3 times. And it only took one time for him to realize how you could beat somebody out in ranking of how many misses that you have, for him to realize I need to not miss at all of jumps. And it took him one time, Coach Shahan, why did I get 3rd? And I told him, and after that he was like, okay, I got it, Coach, not going to do that again. And he didn't. He went out and did a fantastic job. He got a new PR this year of 6'6", which is fantastic for a freshman. Like he said, I'm super excited to have 3 more years with him and to see where it goes. The state record was set last week at 7'1 3/4", and I have no doubt that kid will be right there come his senior year. He's gonna be right there with it. So, Miller, yeah. If I have to go, you have to go. Yep, go ahead.
We have some proud parents in the room we can recognize. Couple.
Sorry, Miss Sanderson brought it to my attention that we never said that Cassidy got 2nd at state in high jump. So that's kind of important.
All right, one more recognition tonight, and it's always exciting to be at the end of the year with so many recognitions, so just bear with us because save the best for last. Sonny Galindo Powerlifting. And Coach Ballou.
And Coach Ballou. Thank you guys very much. We really appreciate your support from Dr. Glenn, the school board, our campus administration, our AD's office. It's just been, every year it's been flawless, just asking for things that we need to get our kids successful and enjoy their seasons. And so we just thank you very much for that. I have Coach Greg Ballou with me, assistant coach Leah Haley, operates more on the girls' side. Enrique Sanchez is a sophomore. I'll let Coach Ballou talk about him. And then Braden Otop is a senior that's going to graduate. He's also a state qualifier. Unfortunately, Taco Bell called, and when Taco Bell calls, Taco Bell calls. So that was a last-minute deal. I'll be visiting Taco Bell. To our program, this year we took 9 boys to the regional meet in Keller. We took 11 girls to the regional meet in Elgin, down south. 2 of our girls were academic all-state. We're very proud of them, Ann Barnes and Crislin Van Patten. And then, of course, we have the 2 young men, Enrique and Braden. We've got a real strong tradition of having regional qualifiers year in and year out from both sides, boys and girls, and state qualifiers. Like, we've made several state trips with our girls for the past few years, and then boys, it's just kind of a routine that we enjoy, that we got into, and it's all a testament, just like some of the people we've already talked about, our kids. It's all a testament to their hard work. Like I haven't looked at a bar in years. Obviously, you can tell Coach Ballou still gets swollen a little bit, but the kids really do all the work. They do. We just kind of guide them. So without further ado, I'm going to let Coach Ballou tell you about their stats, and going back to our brains that we introduced, our valedictorian, our salutatorian, our UIL academic team. Great instructors, great kids. I got a little excited when I heard about our salutatorian, Spencer Burnfield, was going to major in economics. I teach economics. I'm fired up. I was less fired up when I didn't make the top 2 fun classes in his view, so we're going to have a talk about that tomorrow in class. Coach Ballou.
Thank you. I'd like to first start out by thanking Coach Glendo right here so much, because I don't know if all of y'all know this, but Coach Glendo is going to ride off into the sunset this year, and he's going to take all his powerlifting knowledge and leadership with him and leave some pretty big shoes to fill. So I just want to say thank you very much, Coach Glendo. You've been quite the mentor for me. All right, on to the kids. So we had 2 qualified, Braden Oltoff and Enrique Sanchez right here. And Braden, who did get called into work tonight, I just quickly let you know, in powerlifting, we have squat, bench, and deadlift, and your best attempt at all 3 of those lifts all adds together, and it's by weight class. And so Braden is a first-time state qualifier, and his totals, or his best lifts, were 620 pounds in squat, 460 pounds in bench, which is a school record. So is the 620 squat, and then 545 pounds on deadlift. So that's in the 242s, 242 pounds and below. So he's a very strong young man that we're going to miss. He's going to go to Tarleton and probably lift for the club team there. And he is graduating with a 4.28 GPA on a 5.0 scale. And that's something else that Coach Glenda really emphasizes, and that we will continue to emphasize, that powerlifting is only going to get you so far in life. It'll get you a little recognition maybe here in high school, but it's that GPA and it's that hard work ethic that really will get you further from here. And if you can express that in lifting weights, you can express that hard work ethic anywhere. So that's good on him. Enrique Sanchez is going to come and tell you his maxes in GPA.
Hello. For my best lift on squat, the best I ever got was 555, I think, if I remember. For bench, I was able to get 420 pounds, and for a deadlift, I was able to get 560. For my GPA, I'm bad at checking it, so, but pretty sure it was a 4.3, so just.
So, on Braden Oltoff, he's been quite the mentor to some of these kids. I found a weight belt in the weight room the other day, and inside of it has been inscribed Oltoff's maxes. And I go to Oltoff and I'm like, why are you writing your stuff in there? He goes, Coach, I didn't do that. One of the kids, he wrote down all my maxes so that he could beat my stuff. I was like, oh, okay, all right. And so this is one of those guys that helps lead everybody else and helps show them what to do, and just kind of, the iron sharpens iron mentality. And so that's what I really appreciate about these two guys. So thank you very much.
Thank you, coaches. Parents in the audience, raise your hand. You're a great young man. I'm going to jump into the superintendent report.
Move right on, Dr. Glenn, with your superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President. And again, sorry for the, actually I'm not. It's exciting this time of year to see so many great kids recognized and so many great teachers that are helping guide them through the process. A shout out, it'll actually be on next month's agenda, but we've received 9 security audits now, and a shout out to our team of marshals. We are 9 for 9 on perfect scores on safety and security audits from TEA. And I know that's a huge accomplishment because I know there are other districts that are struggling with it, and so really good job to all of our marshals. Also want to shout out to Ken and Gay Brunson. For those of you who don't know, if you follow us on social media, you probably do know there was a bus accident last week, and I had the opportunity to pull up on the scene. It was on 144, carrying some kids coming from Mambrino, and the scene itself was just pretty spooky. It was a car traveling what I would say is nearly full speed, ran into the back of the bus, and fortunately buses are built like tanks, and it did send one student to the hospital and a bus monitor to the hospital, but both returned to work last week and were in good spirits, and I'm told the driver of the vehicle was up walking, had surgery and a tough recovery, but she was actually up walking as well, doing better. And but anytime you go up on a scene like that with a bus accident, it can be spooky and scary, and you don't know what to expect. But really, just a big shout out to the leadership at Mambrino, the teachers at Mambrino. We had paraprofessionals who work with these students that were passing the accident, knew they were Mambrino kids. They stopped, they turn around to make sure these kids, keep in mind elementary age kids, saw a familiar face. Special ed staff, principals on the scene. The bus driver really could have gone straight to an ambulance himself, but made sure that every child was taken care of and either picked up by their parent or escorted to another bus. So I can't say enough about how well our transportation staff, the team at Mambrino, the special education staff, just our first responders here in Hood County. Shout out to Roger Deeds and his staff, as well as the Texas Department of Public Safety. We could not have asked for better support, and glad to report that everybody is okay. A couple of just house cleaning items. The employee banquet was outstanding. You've probably seen pictures of it online, but for the first time ever, we had a corporate sponsor. They came in and said, hey, we really want to do something special to recognize the top educators in the district. And we had 3, Michael Beauchamp, who was our secondary teacher of the year, Connie Olsheg, who was our elementary teacher of the year at AES, and then Francisco Montoya, who is a custodian here, was our employee of the year. And Schottenkirk came in and gifted all of them $6,000, which was just absolutely amazing. So each, so it's nice to know that there is that level of support, and also want to thank all of our trustees who were in attendance to celebrate teachers who had been with us from 5 years all the way up to 35 years, and also our teachers of the year, paraprofessionals of the year, staff of the year on every campus. This Thursday we'll do academic awards where the district is prepared to give well over $1 million in scholarships to those 450 graduates, which is amazing. Graduation will take place a week from Friday. We'll do it there on the football field, and that is always a great event. Baccalaureate is this Sunday, and I think Patty Sanderson left, but I know she always puts on a great event, so if you don't have plans this Sunday afternoon, you can go to the GHS auditorium for baccalaureate. And just a reminder that the last day of school for those teachers in the room and employees, it is a half day, which is exciting. So excited to wrap up this year. It's been a great year, and I want to thank all the GISD staff in the room watching online for your dedication and hard work. Madam President, that is your report for me.
Thank you, Dr. Graham. At this time, we will go to the board meeting public comments. And during this portion of the public comments, the board will allow citizens who have duly and appropriately signed up in advance to speak on agenda items. All comments for non-agenda items will be heard at the end of the regular meeting. We will allow 3 minutes for each speaker. As a reminder, trustees may ask for clarification or provide clarification under Board Policy BED, but the board shall not deliberate or act on any items not included on the agenda. We would remind those of you who are addressing the board with concerns, we encourage you to review and seek resolution through the district's policies for handling complaints. Employee complaints is DGBA, student or parent complaints is FNG, and public complaints are GF. We ask those in attendance to be respectful listeners during public comments so that everyone in the audience can clearly hear each speaker. Speakers, when you step to the podium, please state your name and address for the record. Those who intend to present trustees with items or supplemental materials will need to submit those items to security personnel. For safety reasons, we ask that you not approach the dais. At this time, we will have a speaker on the agenda item, approval of the CEP Child Nutrition Program, which is agenda item 11A. I call for Jennifer Coaches.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Coaches, and my address is 1322 Preston Trail Court.
Ms. Coaches, will you raise the microphone slightly?
I'm afraid to break anything. Okay, is that better?
Thank you.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about the CEP Child Nutrition Program from a parent's perspective. So back in October of this year, I was kind of noticing something is going on. I've always packed lunches, extra lunches with all of my kids from day one. And this year was a little different because there wasn't ever enough food. And so just a little background on myself. I grew up very, very poor and oftentimes homeless, and the majority of the time hungry. So I knew what it was like not having anything to eat. I depended upon the school all through 12 years as a place where I could finally have a warm meal. And so I was very sensitive to this fact, and that's kind of why I took the stance that I always did with my children and always packing extra, because you never know who's in a situation. Their parents just may not have enough money in that week or whatever, and there's nothing worse than trying to be at school and not have anything to eat. So thanks to Mr. Ross at the high school, we all got together and we got some really great information, and we realized that we were in the midst of a perfect storm. We had inflation going on. We had a lot of parents that had not recovered from COVID. From their jobs. We had just lost our funding for free food, for free breakfasts and lunches from COVID. And we realized that our kids were hungry. And we kind of put in place what we could, but there were so many kids that just didn't qualify, or they were ashamed and embarrassed to say anything. And I'm looking forward to the CEP Child Nutrition Program to get passed So that way I know that my work this year is done, and that next year our kids can go to school and have a meal waiting for them.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cochran. We now move to the consent agenda items. We have had requests to pull thank you, sir. I went right past that.
No, you're good, Madam President.
Consider action items on those things discussed in closed session.
Yes, Madam President, you have the HR report in front of you. I want to thank Mr. Jones and his staff for putting together the recommendations. The big one, and I see out in the audience a pretty huge team from Mambrino Elementary, and I'm going to assume they're here to show support for the recommendation of campus principal, which is Melissa Shipp, who is the current assistant principal at Bacchus Elementary. Just briefly, I know that Bacchus has had a huge turnaround over the last few years, and just a lot of support at Mambrino. You're surrounded with it tonight, and we're looking forward to great things from you, Ms. Shipp. You've been in the district a long time, earned this opportunity, and we're looking forward to great things for our students and the teachers on that campus. Madam President, trustees, you have before you the personnel report, including the recommendation of Ms. Shipp. If there are no other questions, I'll recommend that you approve as presented.
Madam President,
Ms. Townsend,
I move that we accept the staff recommendations as noted in our closed session, including Ms. Shipp as the new principal for Mambrino Elementary.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Townsend, a second by Mr. Moore. Is there any discussion? All of those in favor, show of hands. Opposed, the same sign. Let the record show a vote of 7-0. Now we'll move to the consent agenda. And we have had requests to remove from for further discussion, item B, on moving the regular school board meeting from June the 19th to June the 12th. Item C, consider approval of salary pay schedules. Item D, consider approval of out-of-state travel request. And item E, consider budget amendments. So on the consent agenda left will be simply A, consider the approval of the board meeting from April the 24th, and item F, consider purchase of child nutrition minivan through our buy board contract.
Madam President, why are we taking out the budget amendments?
You usually want to speak it.
Oh, I do want to speak on that one.
I mean, we'll leave it in there and you can speak on it here.
I do want to speak on it.
Okay, well, we'll put that back on and let you speak now. You want to? Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, it's always my pleasure each month to talk about the donations that our community is making to our wonderful school district. This month, we had donations from First Financial and also RTX Wireline for our GHS barbecue teams, which we heard about today, for $1,200. And then a donation from GEF. They had an F1 back when we had our racing team's F1 account, and that has been switched over so that it will now be taken care of by Granbury High School in their activity fund for competition expenses of $7,502. Optimist Club of Granbury is giving approximately $450 to stock the athletic freezers with sandwiches for the students when they're working out. And also they are giving money to the high school so that if a student does not have money in their account to buy lunch, they can go to the counselor and get some money there. And then lastly, two more things. Hood and Somerville A&M Club have given GHS MJROTC $150, and the Daughters of the American Revolution have given to Granbury High School MJROTC $2,535. So this month alone, our community has given $11,840 to our school district, and we thank our community for their support.
I will entertain a motion to approve 10A, 10E, and 10F.
So moved, Madam President.
Motion by Mr. Moore. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Graff. A motion by Mr. Moore, a second by Ms. Graff. Any further discussion on any of those items? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, same sign. Let the record show a vote of 7-0. 10B, consider moving the June 19th regular board meeting to June 12th.
Thank you, Madam President. We're asking the trustees to consider the move off of the 19th earlier for a couple of reasons. One, as you guys know, we're trying to get hiring done, and so the earlier meeting would be of great benefit to the HR department and our campuses, but more importantly, the week directly preceding the 19th is a professional development conference for trustees, and it would be very difficult to get board book done that week. So we'd ask you to consider June 12th. I also had someone reach out about possibly the 13th. So it's at the pleasure of the board to move the meeting, but would appreciate your consideration of that.
I would ask that the board consider the 13th instead of the 12th. I'm not going to be in town on the 12th, so if we could meet the 13th, that would be awesome. So I could attend as well.
Any discussion? I have no problem with 13th. Anybody else? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
To move, so moved. So
move the June meeting to June 13th, Tuesday, June 13th.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion. Ms. Gore? We have a second by Billy Wimberly, and any further discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, same sign. Let the record show, 7-0. Consider approval of the salary pay schedules for the 23-24 school year. Mr. Jones or Dr.
Yeah, and I'll tee it up and then I'll pass it over to Mr. Jones. Typically, this is the time of year that we bring the pay scales to you. This is, as you guys know, we are in a legislative session, so this year is a little bit different than what we typically deal with. The data from the financial templates that we're running is, I would say, inaccurate at this point. We hope that it'll firm up as we kind of look to House Bill 100 or Senate Bill 8 or whatever the compromise is that eventually winds up on the governor's desk and becomes law. What we do know is that we want to direct money to our staff in the form of a pay increase. Mr. Jones, I believe it was probably 2 years ago or so, presented a TASB salary study to the extent of looking at the Metroplex and looking at comparable schools. I mean, when we're looking at Hood County, Granbury ISD is the highest paying district, but when we start going to Cleburne, Weatherford, Burleson, Aledo, and in Mansfield, further up, then we begin to fall behind significantly, and to the tune of, I'm saying, about 10% behind the average teacher salaries in the area. And so I wish that tonight I could give you firm numbers. I had this conversation with Mr. Whitefield in the business office and Mr. Jones in the HR office nearly every day. We have run some estimates based on what we think might happen given this the nature of this legislative session, plus where our current funds are actually obligated, so we can discuss that But at this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Dr. Glenn. That is correct. As you're aware, unfortunately, our tax rate's not high enough, and so we're thinking of ways, Emmett's thinking of ways, Dr. Glenn's thinking of ways of how we can raise that teacher pay scale for everyone. We're not doing anything tonight. This is not setting this is just kind of a baseline. If we were going to give 3%, we'd give 1.5% off the midpoint. I think you have 2% on yours, so we're looking at 4%, but we can go up as high as we need, but this is just a baseline at this meeting to give you an idea.
Yeah, so just for clarification, we're not asking for any action tonight. We're showing you the baseline runs, and it's really the baseline runs off last year where we gave a 3% across the board raise, which was significantly less than what other districts gave. And so as we look at that and we look at some of the limitations we have, certainly it's not apples to apples when you compare GISD to Weatherford and the GISD tax rate to the Weatherford tax rate. But given the resources we have, the availability we have to direct funds to teachers, the very minimum that we've given in the past has been 3%. Our goal, we had an advantageous goal, I would say, early on, which is to try and hit 8%. I know there were districts in Texas that were able to hit 8% for teachers last year. I do not believe we can hit 8% unless there is a significant change in the funding system down in Austin. So where we're kind of falling right now is 6%. It's kind of a unique proposal. And so I would love to hear the board's thoughts on that, because as we roll into next month, we're going to have to give you something pretty concrete to act on, even if there's a special session called down in Austin, because we need to get pay scales approved, because we have employees that will start on contract July 1. Mr. Whitefield, anything you want to add to that?
I would encourage, and everyone is great about getting creative and finding alternative ways. So whatever we can do to try to get the most increase for our faculty, our teachers, our staff would be most appreciated.
And I'll speak into that. I've been speaking about teachers, but from a staff standpoint, I appreciate you bringing that up. All of our runs right now actually have us raising our lowest level employees, which some are about $10 an hour up to $15 an hour. And it's kind of, we talk about this a lot, but it's the truth. Right now, you can go make $15 an hour working fast food at Taco Casa. You should be able to make $15 an hour if you're working with our kids. And so we want that to be the bottom, the floor. So in every run, we're trying to take care of those lower end employees, and then also our paraprofessionals who are in the classroom working hard. So within all of this, our raises included for those groups as well.
Any further discussion? Then we'll move to item D, Dr.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. At this time, the administration respectfully requests that the trustees pull item D for no action.
And that concludes all of the items on our consent agenda, and we will move to 11A, consider the approval of the CEP Child Nutrition Program for the 23-24 school year. Ms. Amy, welcome.
Here we go. Good evening. So last month, I had presented some information about our CEP Child Nutrition Program, and today I have a memo before you to present approval for that program for the 23-24 school year. Does anyone have any questions about the program?
Amy, just for those in the audience who may not have been here, explain in a little more detail about CE and what the benefit is for our kids.
Okay, so CEP is it is a program that is a special program that school districts can do if they're already operating under the National School and School Breakfast Program, there's a formula that goes with it that allows us to be able to feed our students breakfast and lunch for free for the entire year.
It's one of those programs that was created several years ago, and districts that qualify for it, they have to be within a certain percentage of economically disadvantaged to be able to operate under that program, and we do qualify for that.
So each year, our economically disadvantaged population has gone up, and trustees, you likely remember during COVID, from a federal level, lunches became just free. They were taken care of for all students, and so this would allow us to opt into essentially a similar type program. However it is, I do caution you, it does come with a small amount of risk. If our economically disadvantaged population begins to fall, then there is the possibility we would be on the hook for those who do not qualify for the program.
That is correct, and we can opt out of the program at the end of any year. And we can go back to our free and reduced meal program, filling out the applications.
Amy, as I look at the pros and cons, you say free breakfast and lunch for everybody is a pro, increased participation, and we would expect that. There will no longer have to be any free or reduced price meal applications, and especially on the secondary level, there's a lot of lunch shaming for the kids that qualify. They should qualify, they don't qualify because they don't want anybody to know that they're economically disadvantaged. There'll be no policy for charging, so parents don't have to worry about that. It's a 4-year cycle, so while you said we could opt out any year, it goes, if we qualify, it's for 4 years?
Yes, ma'am.
We can drop out of it at the end of any year, and Emma can still participate with their family-style dining.
Yes, ma'am.
On the cons, you said the household will have to complete the socioeconomic information form. Mm-hmm. Is it more difficult than the free and reduced price lunch form?
No, ma'am. It has pretty much the exact same information and questions on it as it does for the free and reduced application.
A side question. If an elementary student is in a family that has a junior high or high school, do we automatically try to match them up and make the family as a whole qualify?
We have still the option to do what is called our direct certification through state programs. So with those state programs, you can extend those benefits to those households or those students in the household. If they are qualifying based on income, then if, say for instance, there's a child that is split between 2 homes, then we would have to have a separate application per home.
And there will no longer be any reduced or paid price student portions. So yes, the portions will all be the same.
Yes, it'll all be free for each student. We just would not receive, like for right now, we get students that are on the paid or the reduced program. They pay at the cashier station, whatever that portion is. We wouldn't be receiving that, but we would still be getting our reimbursement from the state for free and paid meals.
Are there any other questions?
What will happen with our staff?
It'll remain the same.
Okay, the same as it is now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I also was able to get some information that I think is really telling, that in 21-22 at the high school, when it was free, we had 135,821 meals that were served. And when that went away, it went down to 63,561. 53% of our kids were no longer getting lunch.
Yes.
And that is the reason why I think this program is so needed, just from the situation we're in. It was interesting when I looked at the elementary schools, it wasn't that different as far as but it was up at the high school.
Yes.
Where it really made a difference. So I think that meal shaming, if you want to call it that, is real. Is real. And I'm just real excited about this program being put in.
Me too.
Do I have a motion regarding the approval of the CEP Child Nutrition Program for the 23-24 school year?
Madam President, I move that we approve the CEP Child Nutrition Program for the 2023-2024 school year.
Motion by Ms. Gore. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Second by Ms. Townsend. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, same sign. Let the record show a vote of 7-0. That is approved. Consider approval, 11B, consider approval to provide Weatherford College with a notice of intent to dissolve dual credit agreement and take action on approval of a dual credit partnership with Tarrant County College. Dr. Glenn, or Mr. Dawson, or whoever. Go, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Harrington. About 6 weeks ago, we were notified by Weatherford College that the price for a 3-hour course was going up to $456. And so Mr. Gibson, Mr. Ross, and myself did an informal evaluation, I guess, an investigation, just to see what other school districts were doing and who they were using and what other higher institutions were out there to partner with, and just to see what their price was. So we made some phone calls. We met on Zoom with McMurray Dual Credit Academy, Hill College, Tarrant County College, Cisco Community College. And McMurray Dual Credit Academy was $200 for a 3-hour course. Tarrant County was $192 for a 3-hour course. Hill College was $363, and then Cisco Community College was $210. And that really spurred us to say, wow, the same services for a much less price, and we wanted to be fiscally responsible for our families. And so Mr. Ross and I met with Weatherford College and just explained to them our findings and gave them an opportunity to go back to the drawing board. But in the meantime, we gathered a review panel, which consisted of a parent, 3 of our dual credit teachers, which is Ms. Reed, Ms. Bradshaw, and Ms. Leatherman, and then Mr. Ross and I. And we met with and brought them to Granbury for McMurray Dual Credit Academy, Tarrant County College, and McMurray, literally to present to us what options they have, what services they can provide for our dual credit partnership. It was very educational for us. We learned a lot through the process. We deliberated several times, both through face-to-face and then just through an email system, and we came up with pros and cons. But it is the recommendation that GISD provide a 30-day notice to Weatherford College to terminate the current MOU for academics and provide the superintendent the authority to execute an agreement with Tarrant County College for dual credit academic courses through Granbury High School. One question has already been asked to me, would we get the same courses that we currently have through Weatherford College? And the short answer is yes, we'll get the same courses, but the other option on that is possibly a lot more offerings. Note, this is just the academic side. We'll continue with the technical side with Weatherford College at this time, but knowing that there's a lot to offer through Tarrant County College through the technical side as well. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Could you go over the pros and cons that you presented to us?
I'll be happy to. Some of the teachers could even share some of this. They were very excited about a one-time a month department chair meeting with all faculty that are in that department. Another pro was the assigned liaison to support the embedded faculty, so they have someone directly that they can go to in times of challenge, in times of need, or just to answer questions. They offer the highest compensation for the teachers, and they have the lowest price per course for our students and families. They do provide an online tutorial opportunities for our students. They provide TSI exam online, which our teachers were very excited about, and just to see that offering. They have online support to become core complete. There's just more opportunities for students with the multiple campuses and resources that are through Tarrant County College.
Yeah, I'll speak into the importance of dual credit. It's a passion of mine. AP is great. We have a lot of great course offerings through CTE and the programs of studies and pathways. But when we talk about dual credit, we're talking about kids that are going to leave us and they're going to go pursue that 4-year degree. And research shows that if a student will take 23 hours of dual credit coursework, they're 50% more likely to get their four-year degree. And so with those, I see a few of our teachers in the audience. I can tell you that what I hear over and over and over again from the kids that are our top kids that end up going to the TCUs, the Baylors, the UTs, the A&Ms, the Techs, is that when they go through these dual credit classes, they're challenged at such a rigorous level that when they hit the college level, they are overly prepared. And in addition to that, when we talk about kids that are core complete, you're talking about the opportunity to knock off a full year of college for students. And at Texas A&M, that's $25,000 to $30,000. Same for UT, and obviously at TCU and Baylor, it's significantly more. And so being able to take 10 classes, which is 30 hours at $192 a class. So you're talking about, less than a $2,000 investment on something that is essentially a $25,000 return or more. And so I feel like this is a good opportunity to switch. Weatherford College has been a tremendous partner, but now it's just about value for our students. At the price point we were originally given, which was over $450 for a class, it was just turning kids away. Parents couldn't afford that. And so this brings it back to something that's more affordable.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Wimberly.
I move that we provide Weatherford College with notice of intent to dissolve dual credit agreement and take action to approve dual credit partnership with Tarrant County College.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Wimberly, a second by Ms. Gore. Is there any discussion? No further questions? I'll call it. All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, same sign. Let the record show it passes 7-0.
Thank you.
And now we'll move to the reports. Mine.
Sorry, my microphone is off, yeah. It's still with me.
C, yes.
Yeah, consideration and possible action regarding the annual review of local policy trustees. You have that in your packet. So each year, TASB sends out the annual review of key policies. These are the ones for the 23-24 school year. The big item that I'd like to note that we're recommending changes on is obviously making sure all the name updates are appropriate, and so some of the employees are no longer with the district. Some of them may be with the district, but they serve in different roles, and so we would request tonight your blessing to make those changes as it relates to updating all personnel in our local policies. And then as far as diving deeper into the local policies, especially these local key policies, you as a group of trustees have the authority to make any changes you want. My recommendation would be that you take time to read, review, and digest these. And if there's any specific policy you would like to act on or change, bring those back at another meeting, and we'll identify those out on a later agenda and act on them individually.
There are a couple that we have talked about discussing and looking at more than just the clerical changes, so we'll bring those back next month, but we'll approve them as they are today in your book, knowing that we will look at a couple of the others next month. Do I have a motion? I need a motion to consider approving the changes on the annual review as presented by Dr. Glenn.
Yeah, and again, keep in mind the only changes we're asking for example, like Ron Holmgren is listed as a Title IX coordinator. We're going to change that to Jimmy Dawson, who's the current district Title IX coordinator. Those are the only changes we're asking for.
And we also, someone will change them on our website, I hope, because they're wrong on the website.
Whenever we send this in, it all takes place.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Madam President, I move that we make the changes to personnel only in the local board policy.
Do I have a second?
A second that.
I have motion by Ms. Townsend, a second by Ms. Lowry. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, same sign. Let the record show, 7-0. Now, Coach Butler?
Yes, ma'am.
There you are. Oh, you little old bitty thing. I didn't see you there.
Yeah, just look for the shining head. Thank you all. It's been a while since I visited with y'all. It's good to be here. Upright, 2 feet. Thank you all again for allowing us, or me, to represent the group of people in the back. They're really the big part of this program. They're the leaders of our programs, our sports, and I'm just excited to be here. So, I'm going to make this very short and sweet. I know you all are excited to be here. So, as it looks on this thing, we can look at the athletic opportunities. That has increased with the guidance and leadership of Dr. Glenn and y'all for allowing us to add some sports at the middle school level, which is cross country, soccer, and tennis. So there are the three. Excuse me, I'm still having a little hard time talking at times, so hang with me here. We have 22 sports at the 9 through 12 level, 11 male, 11 female. And we have a sports medicine program for male and female also. At the middle school, we have now 12 sports instead of 6 because we've added boys and girls soccer, boys and girls tennis, boys and girls cross country. We've had great participation in the new programs along with our old, so that's done nothing but offer more opportunities for our kids, which is what we're here for. So we're excited about that. We have approximately over 1,700 kids involved in athletics, 7 through 12, and that's about half of our enrollment at the same level, maybe a little more than half. We feel like athletics is one of the best at-risk programs because to be involved in athletics, you have to pass. You're not on something that they check every 6 weeks, it's every 3 weeks. So it's always something that helps our kids like me, to get through school. And so that's a big, huge opportunity. So student population, I think the thing that is surprising to me is down at the bottom, the economically disadvantaged kids. It comprises 42% of our athletes. So you're almost getting close to half of our kids that are economically disadvantaged. And believe me, that is a great program for all kids, but those kids are beneficial from that. Because these people back here lead programs and are like not only coaches, they're like surrogate parents also. Their job doesn't end at 4, doesn't end at 8. These people are on the clock from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So they're very much to be commended for what they do. And I thought the last time we stood here before you, there was only 34% of our kids were economically disadvantaged. So that's really, as you can see, is getting bigger all the time. Athletic, as far as the accolades for academics, as you can see, 40% of the top 10 students were athletes in the graduating class of 2023. And 40% are also in the top 10% of their class. We have numerous academic all-state participants in all sports. We did not have a sport that does not have at least 3 or 4 at the minimum academic all-staters. Now, they're not all first team, but they're all academic all-state. So I think that's very much commendable, again, for the program and what it offers kids and gives them the opportunity to impress her. So now, we had 14 of our 22 sports in the playoffs. And as you know, we had medalists at the state level. So we're extremely proud of them. The main thing that I would like to impress upon y'all are the people in back. That's what I'm here for. They are the face of our program. Thank God it's not me. So, but they do a tremendous job. I think they don't get enough credit sometimes for what they do when things aren't going well. And I think sometimes we get too much credit as coaches when things are going well. So, but because of that, I'm honored to be able to be a part of this group. And I think the main thing I would like to do this evening is to introduce you to all of them, have them come around and shake your hand and tell you thank you for what y'all allow us to do. I know at times it can be hard, it can be difficult, but we're all here for the right thing, and that's for kids. At least we should be. If we're not, then we'll find somebody that is. So, let's start off. We'll go just in alphabetical order. We'll start off with Brad Epler, who heads up our baseball program. Our men's basketball program is David Brazil. Y'all can just keep heading on around the bend there. Yeah. Oh, we're going to go up front. Lady Pirate basketball is Alan Thorpe. Cross country, that's men and women's, is headed up by Amber Ward. Lady Pirate track is also Amber Ward. You need to come over and then walk back out. Football program is headed up by Chad Cheesy. Men's golf is headed up by Steve Ward. I'd like to tell you all a quick story about Steve Ward. It has nothing to do with golf. I can take every opportunity to tell this quick story. Steve Ward was the quarterback for the Monahans Lobos when I was coaching in Big Spring, and we played them in the quarterfinals. Steve Ward is also the quarterback that threw the interception that we won the game with. So I always just like to make sure I keep Steve on tap here. Lady golf program's headed up by Becky Addison, but she is in Austin at the golf tournament this week. Powerlifting is headed up by Sonny Galindo. Our new head coach for powerlifting will be Greg Ballou. Yes. Men's soccer is headed up by Drew McKinney. He's new, did a great job. Ladies soccer is headed up by David Winkleman. Our softball program is headed up by Katie Leffler. Quick story about Katie, very quick. I just found this out a couple weeks ago. Katie was a freshman pitching for Cleburne when we played them in the regional finals, I think, something like that. We beat them. So I just want to make sure that everybody understood that one also. So I'm 100% up here with that. Not tooting our own horn or anything, but just our men's sports medicine program is headed up by Andy Rankin. Our ladies' sports medicine is headed up by Connie Rhodes. Our Our swimming program is headed up by our new coach, Charles Overton, who did an awesome job. Tennis program was headed up by Connor Mason, men's and women's. Men's track was headed up by Jody Brown. And volleyball is headed up by the high jump coach of the year, Desiree Shahan. Now, I took about a 6-month vacation, and I just need to give special something to this young lady. For about the first 3 weeks, I couldn't even put 2 thoughts together, so she basically had to run this whole show by herself. She is the brains behind it. She's the glue behind it. And she is my right-hand person. Well, I'm her right-hand person. Let's put it right. I'm her right-hand person. And you can't say enough about this young lady. Her name is Amanda Rankin. You know, everybody works really hard. It doesn't matter what job they do for the school district. But I would be remiss if I did not. Last thing I'd tell you is that these people, the majority of them, 99% of them, are teachers. Then they're coaches. They come at 6 o'clock in the morning. They leave anywhere from 6 to 10 at night. They drive their own buses. We don't have bus drivers for them. They are the champions of this program, and I just want to give them one last thank you for what they do for us. And then they'll come around and shake your hand. Thank you very much.
Mr. Butler, there may be some questions from the board, so let's let them come around and don't you run off.
Picture, okay, picture.
Doesn't have to be Come on, get in there. Butler, are you gonna get in there? Nope. What? Okay, if you can see me, I can see you. Ready, 2, 3. I got some. All right. Okay.
Can, don't want to. Big time.
I will.
All right. Thank you, Coach Butler. It's always great to see the coaches, and they are in and out I was wondering, when I saw them all coming in, I was like, man, they sure are interested in the child nutrition report. And then it clicked.
We'll make sure those kids get fed.
So questions for Coach Butler?
Yes, I have a little bit, Mr. Butler. I want to thank all the coaches and everybody. I think that what y'all do is great, and I think that we all agree that the more the students are involved in the extracurricular activities and in sports and things, the better off they are. But I was looking through your packet, and I had a question under the student population stuff.
Sure.
What do these numbers do to serve our goal for improvement? I think we should definitely always be working towards what students are involved in extracurricular activities. Do we know some of the reasons that we cannot, or how can we get more students involved in all of these extra activities? I know I've got several questions.
Well, I'll say the reason that the student population percentages are, we got them off of PEAMS, and I was asked about 16 years ago to put some of this information on there, and so I've just left it on there for the last 16 years.
But why is it divided up by Caucasian, Hispanic? What difference does it make?
I don't think it makes us any difference, but that's what I was asked to do 16 years ago, and I've just left that formula on there because they liked it back then, and if that's not what we want, that's fine. We don't look at their ethnicity at all.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, that wouldn't be very good for the sports. Do we have like a number of, if you have the total number of Hispanic children, do we have that percentage of how many of them participate in the sports?
Hispanic?
For each one, I'm just using them as a example.
For each sport?
For each category of African American, Caucasian, Hispanic, do we have those numbers?
I thought they were on there.
Coach Butler,
maybe I misunderstood.
We have the percentages. I think what Ms. Lowry is asking for is the actual number count, how many students.
I can get that very easily. We just put it as a percentage. I can make it numbers. I can give them to you by in the morning.
Okay, that'd be fine. I was just wondering what it was and why we had it broken out like that. It just seemed like we would want to make the category of all the students and recognize all students, not divide them all out. Just a question I had. It's okay, thank you.
Sure.
I think you're excused now, Mr. Butler. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, coaches. Thank you all very much. We'll go to the next report. Financial statements.
Thank you,
Mr.
Madam.
Whitefield.
Thank you, Madam President. Board, in front of you, you have the financial statements for the month ending April 30th, 2023. This includes transactions from September 1, 2022 through April 30th, 2023. The revenue collected to date equals 94.03% of the budgeted amount compared to 93.16% in 21 and 22. The expenditures to date represent 65.23% of the budget as compared to 56.05% in 21 and 22. Some of those notable things on your statements are that our investment income is greater than what we budgeted at the original start of this year. And earlier this evening, you approved a budget amendment that will correct that, and it will be reflected in the May financials. The other points of interest will be in the security, function 52. We are spending a little bit more this year as a percentage of that function. And then in transportation, we brought that more in line with the last budget amendment that we did for fuel and supplies. So that brings that more in line with where it should be as a percentage of the way it's being spent. And that is your financial statements for April 30, 2023.
Are there any questions regarding the financial statements?
Under federal projects, year-to-date, we've spent 54%. Last year at this time, it was 96%. Why are we so far behind on that?
On the federal revenues?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Those are based on our indirect costs and federal money that we receive. It's going to be SHARs and Medicaid, it's a timing issue with the way they're billed and how it comes in. And same with the indirect costs on our federal programs. It's a lag in time, and it's a timing thing of how it's happened.
Okay, so the fact that it's like almost half of what we would have normally had at this time is not surprising to you?
Well, it is not.
And that would have probably included our ESSER money, which was significantly greater than it was last year. The number was greater than this year.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? All right, Mr. Whitefield?
Yes, ma'am. Your next report is your cash investments and your cash flow and investment report. You can see that this month we did generate $306,914 in interest. Again, that's for that 1 month interest is greater than we did the whole year last year. So right now, as a total for our interest this year, we have $1.4 million in interest that we've gained this year. And that is your investment report.
Any questions or comments?
I would just say, and all that was eaten up by fuel expenditures and utilities.
Utilities and fuel, yes, sir.
All right, we will now move to our board meeting public comments. Again, I will remind you of what was stated earlier about the open forum. If you'll state your name, even though I'm going to call it to get you up here, but Carolyn Green, to speak on medical farms.
Yes. Good evening, Dr. Glenn, Board of Trustees, and staff. I went over the medical form last year, kind of reading over it, and it's pretty generic as far as it goes into the judgment of the representation of the schools. The above students should need the care and treatment by any doctor, teacher, represented hereby agree to indemnify and save harmless the doctor, school, and any school representation from any liability of whomever on account of such care and treatment of said child. And of course you have to put your name, driver's license, and sign your child's first blood, whatever. So anyway, it goes down to the bottom part in small letters. It says, sign this form indicating that all forms information is correct and that you agree to the terms of the special instructions in the student parent handbook. Well, I went to look see where the special instructions are, and I cannot find them. Last year, y'all wanted us to sign pretty much our child's emergency life away, where we would have to be responsible for anything the school decided to do, and it even included surgery. And doctor release forms. I don't know why the school would need to have us as parents sign away our rights to a doctor, because I don't think there's an employed doctor at the school who's going to do surgery on our children. So I'm not quite sure why that's in there. I would want to be contacted if my child needed to have surgery. So that was a big concern. I've dealt with contracts, and I know that they're binding, but it also it just, with the school wanting to take more and more control from the parents, I am concerned with that form. I try to, and also with the COVID and the vaccines, it's very generic, and you can pretty much do anything. It says you can pretty much do anything to our child, and we have no recourse. So that's a big concern for me, to just kind of sign that blanket release. Also, you made us do it online, and I tried to hand it in writing on paper form, and you wouldn't accept it. And so I felt that that was a violation of my rights, that I can't turn in a paper form, because I like paper, I like to read it, I want to know what's on it and what I'm signing away for my child. So that's my concern. I know this is probably coming from TASB or the Texas Association of Teachers, but it's too generic and gets way too many rights away for us parents who are raising our children, who would have to also be responsible in whatever you did as far as surgery, medical bills to our child, which we should not be responsible, and you should not be responsible for surgery on our children or that decision. So that's my concern on that matter.
Thank you, Ms. Green.
Okay, sorry.
And Ms. Green, one question.
Did you discuss that with your child's parents? With your child's principal?
No, ma'am. No, that was just, I actually emailed him last year.
Okay.
About
Thank
it.
you very much.
Thank you.
Monica Brown, to discuss events for students, teachers, and families.
Good evening, Dr. Glenn and Board of Trustees. The events I want to mention, I've mentioned them before, but I just want the public to know that there are free teacher conferences held by Wall Builders. If you know who David Barton is out of Aledo, he's quite an outstanding man, a historian, and he has free teacher conferences this June 19th through 21st, June 22nd through 24th for administrators, for history teachers and government teachers of private, public school, homeschool, all that's coming up. Constitution camps are here in Granbury, quite a successful program. It's like a day camp for children, 2nd grade through 6th grade. Teaches patriotism, teaches a three-headed eagle concept, and also there'll be a second one announced soon because the first one is almost full, but quite an opportunity for children, and that is free here in Granbury. The third thing is patriotacademy.com, if you're aware of that group, also highly and tightly tied in with David Barton from Wall Builders. They have Patriot Academy. You can go online and sign up for biblical citizenship classes. If you sign up to be a coach for free, you get those classes for 1 year. You can study at home. It's quite excellent information, historically accurate, and strong on our founding fathers and how they planned for our country to go. If you don't want to do it yourself, there are classes coming up here this summer at a variety of places. Some churches and some learning centers here in town are going to be hosting classes, and that's for students and for adults. And then just for a moment, since I kind of came into this organization about books, a book just came to me through the biblical citizenship class called The Miracle That Changed the World, The 5,000-Year Leap. If you haven't read it, it's outstanding. Very, very interesting. And I would love to have time to go through some of the things here, but it talks about our founding fathers, and it goes into returning to fundamentals, getting back to basics. Nothing in this life will ever be perfect, but it can be much more gratifying and less dangerous if we can get back to the fundamentals that provided that amazing 5,000-year leap in the first place. And kind of the point is that America came onto the scene after 5,000 years of history. And if you think about it, in the first 200 years of our country, we went from horses and buggies to being on the moon. Phenomenal success here. When someone mentions American exceptionalism, we really do have it going on, and I don't want to lose it. I hope we don't lose it. I highly recommend this book that people take a look at it. It's called The 5,000-Year Leap. I think it'll inspire you, and I would love to get the conversation back to or onto how to make our libraries and our instructional materials inspiring and truth-based, and the kind of things that will move our students into the future like our founding fathers.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Jerry Daughtry.
And my name is Jerry Doherty. I live at 8806 Rosedown Court in Granbury. Last month, I talked to y'all about my concern over the fact that our emphasis on the founding fathers and founding documents and the personal sacrifice that was made by people down through the course of U.S. history to provide us the freedom that we have and to sustain it needed to be strengthened. And I encouraged the board at that time to look into establishing an integrated K-12 curriculum that would put emphasis on these things. And I warned you at that time that I would be back this month to talk about another curriculum area that I think needs that same kind of emphasis. I would preface what I'm going to say is probably Spencer Burnfield does not need what I'm going to be talking to you about. I noticed that the salutatorian is going to college, and he has an emphasis on economics, and that's where I want to talk about is the area of my concern about the lack of economic literacy on the part of high school graduates, not just in Granbury, but nationwide, statewide for that particular matter. In the area of theoretical economics, we see people parading around the streets of the United States advocating for socialism. And I think we need to get a much stronger comparative study of the comparative economic systems, because when we talk about American exceptionalism, the American free enterprise system wins every time when compared to any other economic system out there. But there's a more practical side of economics that I think our students need some emphasis on. Very few high school graduates really have any basis or any skills in being able to manage their own income. And sadly, I think electronic banking has had something to do with making it that way. When they get direct deposits, they don't have a clue as to what those deductions are because they never look at them. And they don't realize how much of their income and taxes and other things being taken away. They do not understand the insidious nature of credit card debt either. They also do not understand the danger of inflation, digital currency, and a cashless society. So the solution is the same that I offered last time, and that is that we develop an integrated curriculum. And I know that it can be done because it's already been done in Granbury ISD in order to achieve the results on the STARS test.
And Mr. Daughtry, have you made the trip to the State Board of Education to testify to those things?
No, but that may be my next stop.
That would be our recommendation. Jennifer Bloodworth, to speak on highlights of activities at Membrano.
Hi, it's me again. I live here in Granbury as well as teach here, and I just wanted to share some of the cool things that are happening again. I just checked on the website, and we have 10 fifth grade groups set up for Lemonade Day this coming Saturday, so please get on lemonadeday.org. Look for Granbury, look for those stand locations. Y'all go see them on Saturday. They're going to be everywhere. They have cute names. I cannot wait to be around all day Saturday, so go check out our entrepreneurs. Our fifth grade district field day was this past Friday, and it was hot and exhausting and amazing. The kids loved it. It was our second time to get together as a fifth grade across the district, which we don't have a lot of opportunity to do, so that was really cool. They kind of get to mingle with kids that they're going to be mixed in with in middle school next year, and the kids absolutely love it. It's like the field day when I was growing up, when you do the races and the sports and stuff. It's not just water. We didn't actually have any water events, so it was really like a real field day. I loved it. I also wanted to share that Liz Howard on our campus set up a Starbecue right before we had STAR testing. Indian Harbor Volunteer Fire Department came out and grilled hot dogs. There were cookies and drinks and stuff. Our kids got to go and just have an hour or so just to relax. They went and ate together. They played outside together. Our third through fifth graders work hard. I mean, all of our kids work hard, but they're getting ready for those tests here this time of year. So we wanted to give them a few hours off, so to speak. And Liz Howard put that together for us, and they absolutely loved it. We had chicks hatch last month, and I'm including this because first graders are funny. What they say. And Ms. Bowden was letting me know that when the chicks were hatching, she explained to them the idiom, don't count your chicks before they hatch, and only 1 out of 7 hatched. And so a little boy was like, well, Ms. Bowden, I guess you're right about that. We should not count the chicks before they hatch, because they only had 1. But they understood, that's just how it works sometimes, so they decided since they only had 1, it was going to be their class pet now, and that it was really hungry because it kept trying to eat their fingers. They did stop motion animation videos in first grade, and as the life cycle of the chick went on, one of the kids was like, we get to make videos. I want to make a stop motion video of a life cycle of a chick, and this is the best school ever. I love this day. I'm going home to tell my mom and dad. So those are the kinds of things that we like to hear from our kids, and that's just true, honest feedback for what we're doing at our schools, because our kids are learning and they want to take that home, and they're proud and they're excited, and excited kids learn. And so I just want to share all that fun stuff that we're doing, because that's really the heart of why we're all here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bloodworth. Also, thank you for teaching. Janine McGregor.
Dr. Harrington, board members, thank you for listening. I am Janine McGregor, 6211 Tuskegee Court, an educational researcher, publisher, author, as well as a certified teacher at all levels. This last year, I had a contract with Denton ISD to teach GED classes at the Ford Training Center. My class results were and are exceptional. Halfway through these classes, Katie Offit of Ford Training Center required me to move my students to a different building that was unsafe and didn't meet the needs of my disabled students. Without consideration to me or my students, classes were canceled, even though some were approaching their completion. So that my students would not be left in the middle of the course without an experienced GED instructor, I continued at another location to teach the course and assist my students without pay. We are continuing with high success. I believe the cancellation was a result of the wishes of Barbara Townsend and a recent new at Ford Training Center board member Paula McDonald pressuring Katie Offit of Ford Training Center to cancel said classes because I and some of my students had witnessed the Ford Training Center being used to store and display political material for Townsend and McDonald during the election of November of 2022. After witnessing the political material in violation of school policy and 501c3 status, I got a surprise. I was told I was accused by Granbury ISD school board of distributing political material to my students at the Ford Training Center. I don't think it is true that the board made that accusation, but because Barbara Townsend represented herself as the president of the GISD board, Denton ISD believed it to be true. The investigation took place. I was cleared of any and all wrongdoing. At first, I was denied access to the origin of the complaint, but then Denton ISD finally sent the emails to me. So I sent a Freedom of Information request to GISD, Granbury ISD, requesting all information involving correspondence between GISD, Barbara Townsend, Denton ISD, Katie Offit in regard to the accusations against me. The response from GISD was, quote, "We have no responsive documents per your public information request," unquote. Because the administration under Dr. Glenn said there was nothing, and because the emails at the Denton ISD end contradicted that finding, and I quote from one, the president of Granbury ISD board was satisfied. She was very appreciative with regards to Katie Offit. Currently, I do not trust the Granbury ISD administration to do an investigation. I'm now asking that this item be placed on the agenda for a thorough, true investigation. Is this flagrant abuse of office for personal gain? Is it torturous interference with the contract? Did the GISD administration know about it? I received an email this last week that Denton ISD is concurrently investigating these points. We should not let this go until we get to the truth. My students deserve better. I deserve better.
Thank you, Ms. McGregor. Thank you very much. Dave Eagle, speaking on the Constitution.
Dave Eagle, 2615 Hillside. Thank you for having me, board members. I was going to speak on the Constitution, but I'm just honored to be here. I was glad to see the valedictorian, salutatorian, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but it was great to see these kids coming through here and all the achievements, the UIL. It was very edifying for me to see this, and I want to congratulate all the teachers and students who achieved these goals that were achieved this school year. The barbecue team really got my attention because I like the food aspects big time. So that was great to see that. Tristan, the young man, I want stock in his company. I'll help him put it on the New York Stock Exchange. I'd love to see where he's going to go with his deal. And the deadlift, Enrique, deadlifting 560 pounds means I think he could pick me up. So I say all that because I had another message tonight, but I just decided I'm going to save that for another time. But I will say this, being able to come to this mic and speak is a very important issue, whether you want to hear it or not. And I think that we all need to be able to listen to each other, listen to what they have to say, whether it makes you comfortable or not. And tonight, again, I'm really pleased to see what happened with this year with your achievements with the students and coaches. It was great to see all the coaches. I've never seen them all in one room before like this. So that was great. And I'm not extending this on behalf of the Commissioners Court, but on behalf of this commissioner, I'm really proud of you guys. I'm really proud of this school district for what I saw tonight, and that was really good to see. And I don't have to always come up here and gripe at you. I'll be back to gripe at you, but I'm not going to do it tonight. And I do have a Supreme Court case for you that we're going to review one of the future meetings. But again, I caution any TASB thoughts of doing away with open mic. I know that talk's gone around, and I think that you really should consider and think about it if you put it on the plate to even think about it. So I ask you to appreciate you allowing us to come speak, even though you bumped us to the end. And it was good to see the entire school board meeting tonight. And thank you for your attention, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, sir. Nathan Criswell, to speak on a matter of concern or interest.
Good evening, Board. I came here to extend an olive branch as we head into this next bond cycle. We all know how the last one went, and I don't think anybody wants a repeat of that. Thank you all for allowing us, the public, to participate in the meetings this week. I'm excited to take part in that and communicate some of these ideas we've got going here. Dr. Glenn, if you recall, I did email you during the last bond about a comprehensive alternative plan. I think there were some things that we both agreed could be good, and it was just too late to pivot. Some of the things that, hopefully we can avoid would be particularly the mega middle school and the, free pre-K for all. And, y'all know this, but it's ultimately up to the board what this bond looks like. Committees are great, surveys are great, but it's ultimately up to the board. And just wanted to come up here and say that, and hopefully we can bury the hatchet, work together, and find a reasonable bond with innovative ideas and a price tag voters are willing to accept. Thank you, and I'll see you all later this week.
Nancy Alana, recognition of alumni.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Alana. I live at 4503 Cimarron Trail and have for the last 44 years. I am here to, first of all, thank the Granbury Education Foundation for the great work that they do. They've been busy in May, and they provided recognition for our top 25 graduates, and then they paid for the meal for our employee recognition banquet on Thursday. And I'd like to thank Wes Jones and the HR department for all they did, because Thursday was a fantastic night. It was just very positive. So many accomplishments by our teachers and so many dedicated employees. We recognized teachers, paraprofessionals, employees, and we also recognized a group that used to be involved with Granbury ISD, and that was the Distinguished Alumni Academic Hall of Fame. And we recognized 3 individuals. Our first one was Mitch Lemoyne, who was a former principal at Granbury High School, still very involved in our community. You can see him at Lake Granbury Medical Center when he goes. If you happen to go in there, he's one of the greeters and does a great job. And we also recognized Bobby Mayberry, who was a graduate of Granbury High School, but he was also principal at Emma Robertson, Granbury Middle School, and Acton Middle School. He was the first principal of Acton Middle School. And we recognized a former student, and his name was Connor Adams, and he has done great things in the law profession. He actually studied for a semester, I believe, in China. He's fluent in Chinese, so he has accomplished great things and now is employed as an attorney in Austin. And we were just thrilled to be able to bring them back. It was a great time. It was a great evening, and I just wanted to thank you for allowing us to give this award and to bring these great folks back and to remember that we've been doing great things in Granbury for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alana. With that great ending, this board meeting is adjourned at 8:12.
Thank you, Board.